Yeah, very good morning to all of you, and good afternoon and good evening. And we will get started from here. I would like to welcome you all for this demonstration session on React Native mobile app development technology. And as mentioned in the flyer, it's a 3 months hands-on development course where you will be demonstrated with all the activities, learning activities pertaining to developing the mobile application. And the React Native is an market trending technology, which is being used widely in the industry. And this is an hybrid platform, which is being supported by Facebook. And this writing a single line of code, writing a single time code will create an iOS and Android applications. So there's a lot of demand for the jobs of these skills. If you get React Native skills with the 2 years, 1 year experience, you will get a good number, good pay package, and as well as in a freelancer also, you can do a lot of projects where people are the projects are available in the market. The people are searching out for the companies are searching out for freelancers as well. All right. About the Full Stack Academy, we always try to bring the latest and trending technologies, and with a reasonably very economical pricing we keep for all our trainings. So this time also React Native training, which is for 3 months and followed by a project, complete like 3 months plus 3 months support, which we are offering for just 30,000, and in that 30,000 we have reduced again, and we are offering now for 20,000 rupees. So this is a very beautiful and golden opportunity for you all. And about the trainer, he is an developer, and he has a good experience in developing mobile applications, and he has worked with some of the big companies as well. And these classes will be in online as well as in offline. So those who are interested for attending the classroom training also, please join this session from Full Stack Academy, and which is located in Toli Chowki. So with this introduction, I would like to now invite Mr. Mohiuddin, who will be the trainer and in this entire session, and he will demonstrate and he will give you more insight about this course, please. Thank you very much once again for joining. I would like to thank all my team members who made this event possible. Thank you very much. Over to you, Mohiuddin.
Assalamu alaikum everyone, and good afternoon. This is Mohiuddin, mobile application developer. I will be the instructor for this React Native mobile application development course. And I welcome you all to the wonderful demo session in which you will be getting a clear idea of what you are going to achieve by by joining this course, and what will be the benefits for you, including the career opportunities and the skills that you will be learning, which are in demand in the industry. So let's get started with this demo session. So welcome to React Native demo session for React Native mobile application development. Why mobile application development? Mobile application development is one of the most in-demand field in the industry. Why? In the earlier days, in the last decade, past 5 years, past 5 years, people used to have a computer or a mobile device, and then they use that to connect to the internet. But now people want to connect to the internet, and they think that mobile devices are the primary medium of connecting them to the internet, right? I will give you an example. Sales for mobile devices started going up when this pandemic started, right? It was going up before the pandemic also, but it has increased drastically in this pandemic. You know the reason? Because people wanted to connect to the internet using mobile devices, and mobile devices cost much less than a full computer, or even a laptop computer, or even a tablet computer. especially the one which use Android. Fine. And while developing mobile applications, we will be considering both the platforms, Android and iOS, because these two are the major platforms that are being used. Fine. So that's why more users using mobile devices means more need of mobile applications, and therefore more need for people who develop these applications, which make these devices even more usable, right? And even more useful. So we will talk about the technologies in mobile application development, right? There are many technologies that you can use, but only a few, I think, are capable of delivering high performance products in the market. So there are many technologies used in making mobile application. None is complete replacement of the other. You will hear a lot of times that one will replace another one, but that is not the case every time. No technology can be completely replaced by the other. It is a thing that one is just competing the other one. Sometimes one technology is leading, the other one isn't performing much better, but no technology is that bad. Okay, while we talk of React Native, it is performing very high in the market. As per my knowledge, 6 out of every 10 mobile application development projects choose React Native for their needs. So this is one of the biggest technologies that is being used, and many applications use React Native, right? So this is a top technology. It is in demand. Now here we come to the main point, why React Native for mobile app development. We are having other technologies, right? But why React Native? It is the technology that can be used to make mobile applications using JavaScript and is easy to learn. JavaScript. Now you might be thinking, okay, we are making mobile applications, but why React Native? And why we are preferring React Native if we can make mobile applications in JavaScript, right? I mean, why React Native? Because it uses JavaScript. Now what makes React Native and JavaScript so special? See, JavaScript is not that difficult to learn, but it has a huge scope. I've seen people making career out of learning JavaScript, right? So when you learn JavaScript, this is a programming language of the web, right? And it is also now used to make applications which run outside the browsers, outside web browsers. And as it is mentioned here, it is easier to learn. And why it is easier to learn? Because it uses JavaScript. Understood? And React Native, especially, is a technology. While developing this technology, the people who designed this kept one thing in mind. They want to create a easiest possible way for developing mobile applications. 30 lines of code and you have a basic screen setup in React Native. And compared to other technologies, the number is much bigger. Now, what are you going to learn in this course? Computer programming and mobile application development, right? See, all of this mobile application development stuff, whether it is desktop application development or anything else, whether it be game development, they are all based on computer programming, right? And why I have specifically mentioned computer programming, because computer programming is about learning the technique of giving instructions. Well, we speak in the context of this course, we are saying that we are going to focus on computer programming concepts and the mobile application development concepts. After learning this, you won't be just limited to this one technology. You can explore the other technologies as well. And that's what is the core focus of this course, making you a mobile application developer who uses React native for their mobile application development. Understood? Now, JavaScript. This is the core programming language that we are going to use. Okay. Now, JavaScript is one of the most used languages. Nearly every developer knows about JavaScript. Even though they don't use it, they have been through learning JavaScript. JavaScript is one of the most used languages. It is the language of the web and it has a very huge community. And JavaScript is something which you can use to create any kind of application. I have seen people creating games using JavaScript. I have seen people creating websites. Obviously, web uses JavaScript, and mobile applications, React Native. Most of the mobile applications you use might be written in React Native and using JavaScript. Now, coding and programming. You might have heard these two terms. Now, these two words have slightly different meanings, though they are used in same context. Coding deals with writing codes, right? We say learn coding in JavaScript, right? And it is subset of programming. One can call it initial steps of programming, right? Now, I will give an example of coding. Learn to code using JavaScript. You might have heard these kind of words before. Learn to code in C programming. Learn to code in C++. Learn to code in C Sharp. Now, when we say a person is a computer programmer, he knows how to write codes in multiple languages, right? At least two programming languages. So programming is the name of the technique, and coding just deals with writing codes. Programming is optimizing, writing algorithms, and the other stuff. Now, developing mobile applications. Mobile app development is not just about making mobile applications, but about making products. User experience needs to be the very first priority. When we speak of mobile application development, a lot of people, the first thing that comes to their mind is a person who is good at programming is making application by writing lines of code. Okay, but this mobile application is a product that is to be used by millions of people. And you might be thinking, okay, how many applications do really have millions of downloads, right? They have. That's what a good developer aims. Million users. And when they develop mobile applications, they keep one thing in mind. User should use this application and user should be able to achieve the purpose. And when we say user experience needs to be the very first priority, we are not just talking about the design of the application, how application looks, the content that is there on the screen. It is about the performance, how the application loads from the network, how the application performs on the user's device, how frequently does the application crashes. And an application that crashes more frequently is a very bad application. And sometimes the developers, they most of the times they re-engineer the application that crashes frequently because they know there is a serious design flaw and they and this can't carry on. And that's why when we speak of mobile application development, these are products. The end user is not concerned most of the times with what technology it is using. They are just concerned with how it is working on their device. Usually the mobile application developers, they get a lot of statistics on how their application is performing on different devices, and the same goes with React Native. Where and React Native developers should have special focus on how their application is working, because they are concentrating on their ad. Whenever they write code for developing a React Native application, they are writing the code that needs to be run on Android device and iOS devices. And we know the Android and iOS devices, although the two are similar, I mean, the two are mobile platforms, but their internal functioning is not the same. We all know about the Apple and their devices. So one needs to give a special focus while developing applications, right? Even though it is in React Native, we need to do it carefully, because if we write a React Native application, it is performing well on any one platform and not on the other one, there isn't, then what will be the whole point of using a cross-platform technology, right? So that's why when we say that we are making mobile applications, think about we need to think from the user's perspective and make application that is easier to use. Then we have here backend and front end, and the front end part is what we are going to focus more on in this course. Why? Because we are developing a technology, that we are going to use a technology for developing our mobile applications that are going to run on Android and iOS. So a lot of times this is the diagram that you need to keep in mind, and most of the applications that you develop, they all have this concept: loading data from the server. You open your WhatsApp, a lot of content is there on the device, but most of the times, as soon as you connect to the network, either through mobile data or by opening Wi-Fi, a lot of data is fetched from the server. The application loads a lot of data, right? Now the front-end developer should be able to create an application that can easily handle all this, because you don't know what is the speed of the user's internet connection, but still you have to load. You should decide when to load the images. You can't load all the data all at once. As soon as the user connects to the internet, two things will happen: either you won't be able to load all the data properly, and it will render your application useless most of the times. Second thing, after loading the data from the server, where you are going to put that, and you also need to decide that whether your application is going to store data on the user's device, which means you are providing some offline functionality to the user, or your application will only work in the case when there is an internet connection. So you need to focus a lot on the front end, especially in the React Native. And we are going to discuss that. And the projects that you will be doing will be focusing a lot on these, on using APIs, a lot. Next thing is how to learn. Online classes that we will be taking care of. Second important thing is practice concepts. This is the most important part. You just sit in front of the screen in online classes. You see the steps going on. The instructor is writing code. The instructor is explaining something, a presentation. Next, what happens? 2 hours after the tutorial, after the class is finished, you try to recall. You won't be able to recall even the 10% of what you have just learned in online class. Now, how you are going to fix that? You need to practice concepts. Third thing, learn from text. And I'm going to deliver you that material as we make progress in this course. And you need to learn from that text, right? And you will be using this while you need to practice the concepts, right? Whenever I teach some topic in the online class, you need to do that on your computer. Then only you will be able to learn. This is learn by doing. You need to follow learn by doing approach. You need to be very practical in this. Next question, is it easy to learn? It is more easier to it is more easier than you think if you think it is easy, and it may be more difficult than you think if you think it is difficult. So it all depends on your mindset. It is easy. As per my experience, when I learned React Native, it is easier to learn. And when I designed this course, one thing was in my mind, that I will make it as simple as possible for you to understand. The language that will be used throughout this course will be rather simple, easier to understand. I won't be using much difficult terms, but I will be instead simplifying. Next thing is, it will be easier if you practice. You need to focus a lot on small things, very, very small things. What kind of components we are using. Especially in the beginning of this course, we will be focusing on programming concepts, and you should focus on each and everything. What kind of principles we are implementing in programming, how we are solving problems. Last but not the least, career opportunities. First thing, you can get a mobile application developer job. You can work as a freelance mobile application developer. Third one, indie application development. Fourth one, designing mobile applications, working in cross-platform technology. The fifth one, especially, this deals with you developing React Native further, because it's a kind of open source backed by Facebook, and you can develop components for React Native. You can improve the React Native itself. And you can join a company where there is a team who is developing on mobile application. There will be a team who is working on mobile applications, and you will be given the task of developing some components, right? Sixth one, work with other JavaScript technologies. Understood? You can develop your own JavaScript technologies or work with other JavaScript technologies, right? So that is a core focus of this tutorial, making you capable of learning new things, making you capable of giving your 95% to the work you are doing. Now, the first one is, can you get a mobile application? You can get a mobile application developer job. See, nowadays, when you are going to work, you should know what area you are going to work, right? Like mobile application development. Understood? You are a mobile application developer, and when you put this on your resume, you know that the kind of work you are going to look is a developer job, mobile application developer. And people who need a mobile application developer, they will know that you are the person who is the best suitable for the job. So that is the advantage that you are getting. Second one, work as a freelance mobile application developer. See, the whole thing about freelancing is that you should be more capable in order to land a freelance a mobile application developer job. Why? Here you have to deal with the client. It takes a lot of other soft skills. You need to plan accordingly. It is not that you are taking 2 to 3 mobile applications and then you are not even delivering the single one. You are working on 2 to 3 different kinds of mobile applications. Like especially in freelance mobile application development, a lot of beginners go through this. They take an e-commerce mobile application development project. They take a social media uh, application development project, and the third one they even take a game development project, and they will be able to complete neither. Why? Because they are trying to work on different kinds of applications all together at the same time, so they are not able to focus on one core thing. So that's why freelance mobile application developer needs planning, proper planning. And when they are able to do this, only when they have a very good and in-depth knowledge of what technology they are using and how they are working. Third one in the application development. And the third one is very specific. It is very simple. You will develop your own applications and you will put them on the Play Store or the App Store. And you will be adding monetization, you will be adding advertisements, and that will be your earning source. And in the application developers, a lot of them, they even work as freelancers, and they may even uh, work part-time in some other mobile application development jobs, right? Like working on specific projects, improving other technologies. Fourth one, designing mobile applications. You will be given with the task of designing mobile applications, right? The user experience, although there will be a user experience designer, but after all, the people who are going to work more on delivering the product will be the developers. So a lot of times in the designing teams there will be a developer, and having the knowledge of developer will giving you an additional advantage over those designers. Understood? And user experience designing in itself is a very broad field. If you want to go in that, you can also do that after learning this React Native. Fifth one, working in cross-platform technology. You can work on adding more and more React Native components. You can develop React Native components which can be used by other developers. You can do research work on the React Native, how you can improve the React Native itself. Right. Sixth one, work with other JavaScript technologies. If you are going for a job and they will say, okay, you are familiar with JavaScript, and in one of the biggest technologies that use JavaScript, in our case, it is React Native. And when they know that you are a person who is developing mobile applications using JavaScript, they know that you can work in JavaScript technologies, and there are many. It would take me 10 minutes to list all the JavaScript technologies, including the frameworks and libraries. So this is how you can land a mobile application developer job.